Check. 1, 2. We are live.
Was
What's what's going on, man? We got Austin Sawyer in the house,
hey.
aka Drumming Bird.
Hmm.
Good to see you, man. How you doing?
Good. Just yeah, hanging in there like everyone else, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. Taking it a little bit of day by day.
Of course.
I'm really excited to have you on today. We're going to be talking about a lot of different stuff, but mainly I want to start off by plugging your new album that's coming out, Akoi, coming out this fall. Did you say, is there a set date for it?
Yeah, the album's October 9th, and then the next single's coming out September 18th. Already have the one single out.
Cool, yeah, and then Feels Like 98 already came out a couple weeks ago. If anybody wants to start getting a little taste of what this new album is going to sound like, um, are we allowed to know, like, what can we expect in terms of this album from the last album?
This one it's definitely different. I feel like more cohesive in a sense,
Yeah,
and and also more just kind of the song structures are pretty more standard on this one. Like on my last album, I had like a
hmm.
seven minute rock odyssey, and it's a lot of verse chorus verse on this album. But also, I had spent more time working on it, so I did this one with Sam Killian.
Oh, cool. He's
And
engineering it?
yeah, he engineered, and he plays drums with me when I play out. And he played drums on this album too. And then, do you know Greg Garner?
I
As
don't
well,
think so.
bassist. He plays with me.
Cool.
So yeah, it was. But the last one, I worked with a more, like, I guess, established producer, and we recorded in like a you know legit studio in Nashville, which was really fun, but also kind of limiting as far as money and time went. So working with Sam, we did it all at his home studio, and we could just a lot of trial and error versus the last one where we kind of had to just kind of accept what we got in our limited time.
Yeah, right. That's pretty interesting. I was just talking with Kelsey Abbott yesterday, and we were both talking about a similar thing. Like, my last record that I made, I like went into a studio and paid a lot of money, and it was this very like high production thing.
Yeah,
But everything I've done since then, and she was saying the same thing. Like, after her one big, like, more expensive project, has just been recording like in my friends' houses, and it
yeah,
feels pretty comfortable. And yeah, like, you lose some of that time restraint too. You know what I mean?
definitely. Which, yeah, I feel like the big studio experience is cool and definitely something good to have, like, under your belt if you ever are back in that situation. But it's more comfortable and like less pressure in the situation. We're just recording with friends, so
Yeah,
it's
right.
how I plan to do it, at least for for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, right. Are you living in Nashville right now, or are you down in Murfreesboro?
So I just moved up to Nashville at the beginning of this month. Yeah.
Really?
So I'd been at MTSU, and then I graduated last August, which was a year early. So all my roommates were still living there. So I was like, I'll just
Man.
stick around.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, we just moved up. We're like right off 12 South. So got a
Cool.
cool spot. I'm so excited to be up here.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it just like an exciting and healthy change to be here? Or are you
For
gonna miss
sure.
like that? I know you had a really cool community in Murfreesboro of just like photographers and like musicians and like Garrett, like the Kirkwood House crew.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great community, but I feel like as a whole, they have mostly transitioned either to Nashville or somewhere else as well.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really sees Murfreesboro as the long term as far as like in the creative, in music and photography. It's definitely a great place to cut your teeth, and there's that great MTSU community, but it's, as far as growth goes, it kind of has a ceiling, I'd say.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's true that it does seem to like change. Like, I haven't played there in, it's only been like a year probably, but I already feel like if I went back, I don't know who would be there. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
most of the crowd, as well as like even like the Kirkwood House, doesn't exist anymore. So it's like
yeah. It's a
I wouldn't
revolving
even know
door.
where to play. Yeah, right. Where are you from originally? Did you move to Murfreesboro from somewhere else?
Yeah. So I'm originally from Signal Mountain, which is like right outside of Chattanooga.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So that I feel like that comes into your music a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Definitely influenced by my hometown and stuff.
Yeah, right. I don't know much about Signal Mountain. What is it like? I mean, I've driven through and I've played in like Chattanooga a lot, but I don't
Yeah,
really know
Signal's
anything
great.
besides that.
It's just a small community. It's like got like 7 or 8 thousand people, just about 25 minutes from downtown Chattanooga. And it's just got like one traffic light town. Just football's really big. Just a typical small southern town. But it was always nice. Chattanooga was just like 25 minutes away or whatever.
Yeah, right. That's
Mhm.
cool. How'd you find out about MTSU and like what drew you to moving closer to like Nashville and Music City?
So I wanted to, or I did music business. That's my degree. So like in Tennessee, the options were pretty much Belmont and MTSU,
Right.
and just didn't have that Belmont cash.
I didn't either, man.
So yeah, I got that those state school scholarships and wound up at MTSU, and I loved it. So
That's cool.
worked
You,
out well.
and
Yeah.
you finished in 3 years. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I did some like dual enrollment classes in high school.
Yeah.
That got me like a semester's worth, and then um, had like internships I did over the summer that counted. So by my like spring semester, or by the end of my spring semester, I only had one class left. So I was like, I'll just knock this out over the summer and just get on out of there.
Yeah, that's cool. Wow, that's crazy. I feel like that would have taken a little bit of hard work on top of the fact that I feel like you already put a ton of work into your music. It has to be a little bit
Yeah,
overwhelming trying to
but
balance
yeah,
all that.
it was freeing in a sense, just
Yeah,
because
for
I could
sure.
like focus more on music, but also gotta pay rent now too. So
Yeah, right. A different game. I wanted to say that I think it's really cool that you're pressing this new album to vinyl.
yeah, yeah, I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, that is so cool. Are they already printed?
They're not. So I'm using a company called Precision Record Pressing, and they're just I found them online. They're just really well reviewed out of Canada. So hopefully it works out well. They're supposed to be here or by at least the release date or around then. But I feel like it's pretty acceptable with like vinyl releases to like if they're pushed back a little bit, people aren't too upset. But
Totally. I've always heard the timeline is really hard to link up with
yeah,
like pressing vinyl because it takes so long to do it and
yeah,
there's
you don't want to
usually a
rush
waiting
it.
list. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you don't want to sound bad. So
What inspired you to do that this time? Was it just a personal like I just think this would be cool or
yeah, I've also kind of gotten more serious about purchasing and collecting vinyl myself because like when we just moved I had a bunch of vinyl records back home in Chattanooga, but they'd been there while I was in school, so I finally brought them up, and I've just really enjoyed that. And yeah, I feel like I don't know, I guess CDs just really don't sell well anymore, so you kind of had
Yeah,
to
right.
put a lot of money up front for the vinyl, but hopefully
Yeah.
people will be receptive of them.
Yeah, right. It's like CDs don't really make sense to sell anymore, but then
Yeah.
to sell records, you have to really like put some serious cash up front. But then
Yeah.
and then like cassettes are like kind of fun, but I don't know. So, some people like I have a cassette player in my car. I like to buy cassettes sometimes.
Yeah.
Um,
I still have, I still get cassettes occasionally, more for the collectible. They're just cool
mhm.
to have rather than to listen to.
Yeah, they are cool. That's awesome. And you also have like really cool t-shirts and um like a cap as well. Like a
Okay. I'll go grab those real quick. I think they're just right outside.
dude, please do. Yeah.
Boom, we're back.
What is up, dude? Whoa, those look fresh.
Thanks, man. And then
Wow, that is so cool.
the
Man,
tees.
that's amazing, man. Those look really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know who designed them?
I'm blanking on her name. Alexandria Olivia
I
something.
know who you're talking about. I can.
Yes.
Yeah, we can maybe find her on Instagram. I don't know if I've ever met this person, but I've seen their work on Instagram. They made both the hats and the shirts.
So I designed the shirts, but she did I designed the hats. She did the shirts. Alexandria Olivia Hall. I always mix her name up with AOC. They're both Alexandria.
Oh man, yeah, has a lifetime ahead of her of getting those two mixed up.
Yes, she's great. She's done shows I've played before, like that Garrett Hayes booked. Cool. He got her to do like the flyer, so that's how I found out about her. Oh. Yeah, she's super nice, so great.
Yeah, right. Did you ever play the Kirkwood House much?
Yeah, I played there twice.
Cool.
I actually did my cool. first album release was at the Kirkwood. Yeah.
No way.
I love playing there.
Yeah, man. I think that has to be probably the most professional house venue I have ever played.
For sure. Yeah. That's what happens when you just get like 4 audio production dudes just all living together.
Yeah, right. It weirdly, it's like seemed more likely, or it was. I just thought it was interesting that it was happening in Murfreesboro, but not in Nashville. Like I didn't know anywhere with that high of production in Nashville.
I know. Yeah.
Even though Nashville seems like the spot where you'd have a ton of engineers and like people, but I guess there's just enough venues. Like Kirkwood really filled the void, I felt like, for that community.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. We didn't. Have you been to Ridenauer yet? I
have been there, but I've not performed there.
Yeah. It's super nice. It's like state-of-the-art sound and everything, but it kind of does lack the DIY charm that Kirkwood had.
Yeah, sure. Right. Did you play there? Did you open up for Arlie there once, maybe?
No, but I was at that show.
Really?
That's cool. Yeah, and then you played with Natalie one time.
Oh, at Kirkwood.
Kirkwood, yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun.
And that was a good show.
Natalie's amazing.
Yeah, she's great. She's working on some new stuff too. So
cool. She's one of your fans, also like on Spotify, as well as Daniel Nunley, Chloe Kimes, Briston Maroney, but different.
I think that's so funny that it's the but different.
I know it's same on mine too. I guess it's because that's like an inside joke, so our friends are like listening to it.
Yeah.
Whereas actual Briston is so popular that he is related artist or someone besides us.
It's hilarious.
On your last album, you had Chloe Kimes on a song, and you had Allie on a song as well. I thought that was really cool, man. Is there going to be any features on this album, or is it purely solo?
So Chloe's on another song, and let's see. And then a friend of mine who she's never like released any music, but is a like fantastic vocalist. Her name's Sophia Lyle. Does some background vocals on Feels Like 98 and a couple other tracks. And I want to say that's all the. Oh yeah, and I forgot Natalie is on she's gonna kill me for forgetting, but yeah, she's on the track.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm really excited to hear this. With your album, Great Smoky Love. Let's see, that came out last year. What day? February of last year.
Yeah.
I was listening to that this morning, and it's really pretty. I'm wondering now with the Great Smoky Love name, like what inspired that, knowing like where you grew up.
So
the concept of the album.
So I had like planned that recording session, and I had like 10 songs planned for it, and I hadn't written Great Smoky Love yet. And so, but in that time frame, I That song was about like a breakup I went through a couple months before, and this girl that lived in Knoxville. So like the song was written by like going back to Knoxville in that area, like after we broken up, and just how
The
like
Great Smokies.
yeah, and how it felt different, and just kind of trying to capture that emotion in a song. And then
Yeah.
I just really liked the song so much, and I thought it was a good album name too. So I just went with
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It is a great album name. I also just love that album cover. It looks like
Oh,
it's like,
thanks. I got the painting right here.
oh, it's a painting?
Yes. So this was done by an artist
Oh,
out of Chattanooga named Skylar Lehman.
dude, yeah, I know Skylar.
Yeah, Skylar painted it.
What? No
So
way.
yeah, it's remarkable. I'm actually loaning it back to her. She's got in like some art show. So
Yeah, she's in Chicago now.
yeah. So but yeah, she did an amazing job on that.
Wow, yeah, she really did. This is crazy timing because I was just talking about her earlier today with my friend Amy Pearl is like texted me, was like, oh, I'm going to be sharing an art space with this girl Skylar who apparently knows you.
Hey.
I was like, yo, that's cool.
Yeah, that's
Um,
crazy. But yeah,
yeah.
Skylar's amazing.
How did you meet Skylar? I met Skylar just through like performing in Chattanooga. Is it the same to you?
She's from Signal Mountain as well. So
Yo, that's right, because we
yeah.
played at her house in Signal Mountain.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, we played up on this massive. I mean, I was scared for my life going up these hills to get to the house.
Yep, that's where I'm from.
No way. Yet, so that was actually my first show ever in Chattanooga, I believe. Like, I
Oh,
didn't
no
know
way.
anyone. I had met her in Nashville. Um, she like went to this like event, and S. Graham Parker played, and I like played in his band, I
Nice.
think. And yeah, we were like, can we come play in Chattanooga? We've never been. And she's like, well, I live in Signal Mountain, but yeah, let's do it. And so like 13 people came, and we just played in Signal Mountain,
Dude,
spent the
that's
night there.
awesome.
Yeah, right.
And then you've also played the Sub a couple times in Chattanooga, right?
Yeah,
Submarine.
totally. That's a cool spot.
Love that place. Yeah, that place is. I feel like Sinon or has kind of filled the void in Chattanooga the same way Kirkwood kind of acted in
Totally.
Murfreesboro. It's been just like a really cool scene for like creative people to just of all walks of life to just enjoy music. But yeah, they've
Yeah.
handled that really well with how much success and popularity that's had.
Yeah, right. Totally. It's really special. Those kind of spots, there's always like in this like ever evolving, like you said, and revolving too as well, door of like people and community in cities like even Chattanooga with like UTC. There's a little bit more of a steady community there, but it's like um there's always new places that need to emerge and other places are closing, and when your friends can come through and are willing to like do that to their like turn their house into a DIY space,
Yeah,
which honestly takes a lot. Like I've never had roommates that would even allow me to even think about it, but I don't know if I would do it personally, like I don't know if I would want to
yeah,
have my space just be like have people moshing in my living
for
room.
sure. Yeah, it's definitely it's kind of put yourself in a vulnerable situation, just like letting that many people into your home. But it's just so
Yeah.
great when you find people who like are willing to do that for.
Yeah,
They're amazing people and want to see your art grow and have a place for that to for you to foster that.
totally. I mean, that generosity is what allows people like me and you to like tour and stuff like that.
Yes, for
Have you
sure.
done a lot of touring? Have you had a lot of opportunities? I know you've been in school to like hit the road.
Not really. Definitely not to the degree you have. But I had like my first pretty substantial tour. Like I was going to be out a lot of April, and then everything shut down.
Yeah,
Um,
right. Oh
but
man, that sucks.
I know it's going to be my first time playing in like Mississippi and like Memphis and just a lot of new cities. I was excited to play in, but
Yeah.
it's okay. Everything
Do you
it'll
remember
come back around.
it will, man. I will, man. I really I believe.
Yeah.
Do you remember what cities in Mississippi?
So it's gonna be at uh it was gonna be in Oxford at
Cool.
at
Proud Larry's.
no, it was at a place Beaton works there.
Oh,
Lost Dog Coffee, or he
yeah,
worked there
yeah,
when he
yeah.
was in Oxford. So yeah, so my friend John, who's also friends with him, uh got or he like knew the owner there. So he had a show lined up there, which
I've heard
was
that's a cool spot. Man, that
yeah,
would have been awesome.
I know, I was
Dang.
looking forward to it, but
Yeah. Man, that's a drag. I'm sorry that happened. Yeah, we were out on the road too when it fell apart. So we had to just drive straight home from like Houston, Texas. Just yeah, we did it in like one night because people were saying that like Trump was gonna shut down
yeah, there was
the
a
interstates.
lot of confusion early on about
Yeah,
that
so I remember
subject.
we were just like going as fast as we can. We were afraid just we're gonna be like trying to get there, and then all of a sudden this like barrier is gonna be up. They're gonna be like, freeze, you're stuck in this city. Go home. Yeah, right. That was a confusing time. When it comes to DIY touring though, aside from like the inevitable pandemic, is that something that you think about a lot when you in terms of like I guess growing your music, or if you, is DIY touring something that you think about a lot and like would plan on doing in the coming years now that you're out of school,
Yeah,
especially?
I mean, feel like that's the best way to. I think we've talked about this before, but like
Hmm.
the, our love for the Avett brothers, but I feel
Oh
like
yeah,
they're just kind of are the model I've always followed of just like in their
dude.
early years, just traveling around and playing everywhere, playing in school cafeterias where kids can use their meal ticket
Did they do that?
to come to the show. Yeah, it's just it's there's a database online of this guy I know named Timothy Mossberger runs, and it has like every Avett Brothers show ever cataloged, and like some of the early ones they're just funny. There's playing at all these random places
Yeah.
and stuff, but
Wow.
yeah,
Cool, dude. Yeah, right. When I think about DIY touring and like, well, I'll say when I think about being in it for the long haul, I think about the Ava Brothers because
yeah,
their first EP came out in 2000, I believe.
yeah,
So I mean, that's 20 years ago. That is an incredible amount of time. And yeah, I mean, I do see like,
and all of that for them was like pretty much without a radio hit until like maybe recently.
right, yeah,
So it was like
that's
very
true.
they're just building very personal connections to grow their fan base.
I want to say their first like major label album was,
I am loving you, I think.
yeah, I Am Love, and then even like I think Emotionalism and maybe the second Gleam were like, I don't remember. I can't say enough. But I also actually haven't heard the third Gleam yet because I'm waiting
Oh
to
man.
listen to it with my high school band. Well, like S. Grant Parker and Smoth, both of them,
Yeah, yeah.
and our friend Gentry, who runs Living Waters Brewery. We all were in a band together in high school, and we were, that's like that was our biggest influence.
Of
So
course.
we're waiting to get together and listen to it together. But
Dude, it's
I saw you comment on their post and you said that it was that they had done well. Whoa,
got it
dude.
right here. Got all my Gleam CDs on deck.
Man, have you ever thought about doing something like that? Like whenever hear the Gleams, I'm like, man, that makes me want to like have like a project. It's like a project within their band that's like
Yeah,
its
yeah,
own thing.
totally.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's yeah. I've always wanted to kind of they like differentiate their kind of stripped back stuff from their like full band stuff with the Gleams. So yeah, I've always thought that's a cool idea.
Especially now because their like production has become so much more
Yeah,
like
they're
pop and like
super
rock.
produced and full band stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's yeah. The third it was just refreshing listening to the third Gleam. It like felt like more of the old stuff, which is cool.
yeah. What do you think about Closer Than Together? Did you like that album?
Mm, yeah, not on a whole. It wasn't my favorite. Um, it had some songs I really liked on it, like Long Story Short,
Yeah.
and which is super well written song. And let's see, what else did I like on there? I've come around to like High Steppin'. It's just like
Yeah.
just a fun song. Nothing too deep to it, but also like who else other than the Avett Brothers are just like putting a spoken word poem in the middle of their radio single. So
I
that's
know, dude.
which
It's so cool.
at this point, like I don't really care what they're. I just am such fans of them as people.
Yeah.
A bad album's not really going to deter me at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, exactly. And that brings it full circle to why we're even talking about them, which is because like they're our favorite band, and their process has drawn us in a way that is to where you can't be deterred as their fan. Like it's not like the thing that virality can't do is like build a long relationship with the band. And when I like getting to experience and put out music, but then also just digging all the way back, like I can't imagine. I feel like for me, even though I got into them in like 6th grade, so I mean it's been a long relationship. Like even when I went to see them play at Bridgestone, I remember all the people around me were like, I've been going to Avett Brothers concerts since 2006. And it's like, what? And, you know, it's just like,
Yeah,
they have, and which brings back to a reason why, like, we believe in DIY touring. It's like just getting out there. Because even if it's not a great venue and maybe not a ton of people come, if 20 people come to your show in Mobile, Alabama, and then you can begin planting that seed like that day, like that is just going to like go so far when like 10 years from now you're still playing and they're still a fan, and they're a fan
exactly.
for life now, you know?
Yeah, and like you can't look at those guys for 1 minute and like say they didn't earn their fame and success they have now because they spent those 5 to 7 years just being nobodies and
Yeah.
sleeping in vans and sleeping on couches, and so
Yeah.
yeah, they're definitely inspiring.
Yeah, right. They are. I guess it was, yeah, like 5 to 7 years. And then Emotionalism came out in
Yeah,
2007. That's my favorite album of all time. Like number one, for real. Like if somebody asks me, it's like that, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot by Wilco, Pet Sounds, and Business Up Front, Party in the Back by Family Force 5, which if you don't know what that is, that's just
they're a Christian band, right?
they were a Christian like
Christian.
rock band that like
Oh,
changed
nice.
me and Sma's lives in elementary school. And I have no objective understanding of whether they're a good band or not, because to me they're the best band. So
Well, got
yeah.
my Wilco poster right there, Avett Brothers right there. So
Oh,
we're
that's cool. What a
in good company.
yeah, man, for real. Those okay, I kind of want to talk to you about this actually. I know we're just geeking out about music, but you're someone who I can talk to this about.
Of course.
Isn't it interesting? Wilco and the Avett Brothers, they're like two of my favorite bands of all time. I feel like they couldn't be more different in some ways, but in other ways, they're so similar. You know, like their backgrounds, like what they're singing about. You know, Jeff Tweedy, like, oh,
Yeah.
this album, he's going through this like really hard thing, and like this like drug addiction, and like they're in Chicago, and the
Yeah.
Avett Brothers are singing about just being like country boys in the South, and yet their music, like, in some ways, just resonates in a very similar way.
Yeah, no, that's and like yeah, I feel like Wilco's had a lot more. I think they're in a good spot now, but as far as like their lineup was like
Yeah,
where it was changing a lot early on, where the Saver Brothers have just like had the same guys, but
yeah, right,
continued to add new members.
totally.
But yeah, did you read Jeff Tweedy's book?
I did, yeah.
Oh, that was a great book.
That was an awesome book,
Yeah.
man. I could have read that. I could have read another volume immediately following. Like I was just locked
Yes.
in. I was so sad when it ended.
Yeah, that was man. That book was so crazy. I like the part where he was talking about like one of his early days in Chicago or something. He was, I think his wife was working at a bar or something, and Fred Armisen like hosted karaoke night there.
Oh yeah, what? Yeah, right. Which I guess in the movie they are like the documentary. Fred Armisen's in it for like 3 minutes. If you've ever have you seen that? I'm trying to break your heart.
Yeah, I've seen that. I didn't know. I never noticed Fred was in it.
I forgot, and then going back and watching it, yeah, it's like right before Jeff's about to play this solo show, he has Fred come out and play like and do like a stand up set,
No way.
and then they have this like fake, they have this like fake dialogue for the camera. They like turn the documentary mockumentary for a second, and Fred is like talking to Jeff, and he's like acting like the whole thing is a sham and that they're both just like shams, just doing it for the money. And it's just so funny.
Oh wow.
It's
Yeah,
cool to think that they're friends.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Jeff has been in at least one episode of like Portlandia too.
Yeah, right. How cool, man. That is so sick.
Yeah.
I did you get to see Wilco whenever they came to town? When they came last time to like the whatever it's called, the Opry House,
soccer mommy open. No, I wasn't at that show.
Dang,
I wish
dude.
I'd been, but that's
cool.
I saw him in Knoxville in 2014. I think it's the only time I've seen him.
That's cool. Wow, that's a little bit ago, man. That might have been a different lineup or like a little bit different, probably promoting different music. That's cool.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw the Avid Brothers?
Their last Bridgestone show back in November.
Cool. Do you enjoy going to those Bridgestone shows? Would you keep coming every time they come to town?
Yeah, I mean they're all right. I this is a long story, but I got to meet them at that show.
Dude, what?
But yeah, so I had one of my professors at MTSU he like went to high school with them, and
No way.
yeah, and I'd like worked for him and Bob do a podcast. I'd worked for them for like a year, and it just timed out where
Bob
I stopped.
Crawford?
Yeah.
Wow.
It timed out where I like stopped working for them, like when they came to town. So it's like a farewell gift. But yeah, and it was just brief backstage, but it was awesome.
Dude, what was that like at all? Did you get to just like talk to them or shake their hand or anything?
Yeah, so I'd been to Scott's art exhibit that he had at the North Carolina Museum of Art like the week prior. So
wow.
I talked to him about that a little bit, which
Yeah.
was like amazing. That was like made me cry being there. But yeah, and then I just like briefly got to speak with Seth, but it was definitely a starstruck moment.
Dude, that is so sick.
Yeah.
That is so cool, man. Yeah, they inspired my songwriting for so long. I mean, they still do. Like I used to just, when we would write, we would just think about Avid Brothers songs. We would cover Avid Brothers songs all the time.
Yeah.
Do you still feel like they're a big influence on you, or like with this new album, do you feel like you're drawing from new musical influences than before?
I think I am. And I feel like with the Avid Brothers, there was a period where I was like, like I guess after high school, I was like, the Avid Brothers are kind of cheesy and like,
Mm-hmm.
And then I just realized I was just in denial, and I was like, all right, I'm just trying to be cool. They're awesome.
Yeah, right.
They're great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely did draw on some different influences on this one. I've been, I know this is like super late, but been getting into like the microphones and like cool. Phil Elverum stuff.
Yeah.
So that's
sick.
Influenced some of it. And then been like getting into Springsteen. Or
whoa.
Not as much anymore, but like last year when I was like writing for this album, I was going through a big Springsteen phase. So
wow, are we gonna hear some Springsteen vibes on this album?
Yeah, there's one song, and my buddy, his name's Sam Thomas, who played all the keys on the album. I was like, just for the intro of the song, make it Thunder Road, but don't make it Thunder. Don't make it Thunder Road where we're gonna get sued.
Dude, that's sick, man. I cannot wait to hear this. That's really cool. I've actually just recently got into Springsteen myself, a little bit. I never really. My dad didn't like Springsteen. My mom didn't like Springsteen, so it's kind of like recently been discovering it kind of on my own. Yeah, right. My dad also didn't like Dylan though, so there's been a lot of like me discovering some of these classics on my own. My dad doesn't like anyone who has a voice that offends him, like Neil Young or anyone. He's just like, oh, their voice. I don't like their voice. I'm like, well, same with Tom Petty. So I've had to discover a lot of like great rock and like American icons that way.
What Springsteen albums have you been like digging into?
Let's see. So I actually was listening through Rolling Stone's like top 100 albums of all time, or top 500 actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I listened to The River. Some I got kind of into that. We also did a cover of that at Space Prom. We did Hungry Heart,
Oh, nice.
and then Born in the USA, and
Mm-hmm.
then also Born to Run, and then also this like weirder one. I think it was Tunnel of Love. If you've ever heard that.
Dude, I love Tunnel of Love. Yeah.
Yeah, I was not expecting that album, but it was on. It was like in the top 500 Rolling Stone list, and we gave it a spin. It was like really unique.
Yeah. That album's, yeah, me and one of my roommates, we've really been getting the last track on that album, Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
Hear that one? Yeah, we've just been loving that one. But it's, yeah, I feel like it's his most like digging into like 80s cliches on that album, but it's like totally
yes,
works. Yeah.
totally. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was so crazy.
Yeah.
It really that's a really good way to put it. Who are you living with now? Who are your roommates? Would I know any of them?
Do you know, you probably know Garrett Bowling?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I live with him, and then
Cool.
my older brother just moved in with us. He got a job working remote. He had been in Raleigh, and then when everything shut down, he moved back to Chattanooga. But so he's living with us, which is cool. This is first time we've lived together since like we were both in high school.
Yeah.
And then another guy named Jesse. I don't know if you know him. He doesn't really. It's not really in the music scene, but
Word. That's cool. That's cool. It sounds like a cool group of people.
yeah,
That's crazy that you're living with your
excited.
brother. Are you you said you had to find a job now that you moved to Nashville?
Yeah. So I've been babysitting, or I guess
Cool. What?
I guess it's nannying because it's been like full time. It's the same kid, so I guess that at that point is nannying.
You're a nanny. I've
Yeah,
never even thought about the difference in those things. You're a full blown nanny at this point.
full manny or whatever the gender neutral term is.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
but that's been a cool experience. It's the do you know this songwriter Allison Moorer by chance?
That sounds familiar, but I don't I'm not familiar now.
So she used to be married to Steve Earle, um, and then this is their child, and they split up. And now she's married to, do you know Hayes Carl?
No.
He's also they're both like
Wow, cool.
pretty insular, like big in the Americana community.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like household names. But yeah, so the kid is 10 years old and he has level 3 autism. So he's nonverbal, like he can't communicate with words, but he knows like sign language and stuff. But it's been
Hmm.
a really cool experience, just like uh haven't been like exposed to people with disabilities a bunch, so it's been like humbling, and I've learned a lot, and I've really enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, right. That's really special. How
Yeah.
did you come across this like field of work and like these people specifically?
It was random, but so Natalie, she's signed to a company called Endurance Music, and one of her like representatives there knew Allison and had emailed
Cool.
her asking if she knew anyone. So yeah, it was very random, and I didn't really have it.
That's
I had
awesome.
experience. I've been a camp counselor like for 2 summers, so that was like my experience taking care of kids. But
Yeah.
it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done the camp counselor thing. Well, I do for 1 week every summer. I will go back to the church I grew up at and be a counselor at their
Nice.
camp. And I live for it, man. It is like actually some of the most fun, rewarding, just like it is my favorite week of every year,
Yeah.
even with like whatever else is going on. I just always make time for that.
Yeah. It's just refreshing to just hang out with kids after everything political and wrong with the world. It's just some kids who like don't know anything about any of that. Just
Yeah. Yeah, they can kind of bring the innocence and like the actual just like
yes,
joys
yeah.
of life back
Is
into your
refreshing
heart.
for sure.
That's cool. And I know that Madigan, um, well, I know that she specifically has like doesn't she work with like kids
Oh yeah,
with,
yeah. So she's involved in the Best Buddies program, which
Yeah,
is
Best
like a,
Buddies. That's right.
yeah, it's just like a volunteer organization. She's done it since high school, where they like assign you like a special needs individual, and then um, you're free to like hang out with them outside
Cool.
of like sanctioned events. But then they also have like things like Best Buddies Prom, or like
Yeah.
a Best Buddies Walk, where just events for you guys to hang out with your buddy. So it's a really good
Yeah.
program.
Yeah, that sounds really special.
Yeah.
What is that done? Just through the state, or is that through Best Buddies of the organization?
Yeah, Best Buddies is it's a nonprofit. Yeah.
That's cool. Speaking of like being a counselor, do you spend a lot of time outdoors, like with do you have a love for camping?
Uh, I especially like when I was in Chattanooga, I was outdoors a lot. I haven't dedicated as much time to it, since I moved up here, because when you're in Chattanooga, it's just like it's like 5 minutes and you're like at a trail. But
Yeah,
in
right.
Murfreesboro and Nashville, you kind of have to drive a little further to find it. But yeah, I do love being outdoors. I've been with my nanny job, my Manny nanny job. We've been outside a lot because the kid, his name's John Henry. He loves swimming. So just been hanging out by the pool a lot this summer.
Yeah. Oh, hanging out by the pool. That's
Oh
cool
yes,
too.
yeah.
That's awesome. I feel like something that always, another part of what makes being a counselor so special is like that we do a lot at the camp I work at. We do a lot of like hikes
Yeah.
and like just be like camping in general, just like is so special. It's something that I know just like feeds my soul. But then when I get back to Nashville, I get locked in here and I start I start pushing myself, and it's hard for me to like remember to do stuff like that, like to remember to spend time outdoors and just really just feed my soul and take care of myself, because I get lost in it when I'm here in Nashville. Can you relate to that at all, or do you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to. It's hard for me to like. I feel like as a musician to set like healthy boundaries like for myself, like with my music. I feel like it's because it's just like you can work on it all the time.
Yeah, and there's always the voice in your head like saying if you're not working, like you're falling behind.
Right.
Which is like, I guess, slightly true, but like that's not really healthy to listen to that. Like it's okay to take some time for yourself, especially having to work other jobs too. And
yeah, exactly. And we live in a different world than a lot of our heroes did, and like they were also just like very fortunate to like pretty quickly have label help that like allowed them to like be jobless and like I don't like do a lot of big ideas in the studio. Like there's just a lot of things that don't really exist for modern indie artists. We have to like be a lot more adaptable and work jobs and balance the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and as Daniel Ek, founder of Spotify, said, artists can't release music every 3 to 4 years now, which when he said that, it pissed everyone off in the industry.
Wow. Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
He said that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. That's a whole different conversation about all the problems. So Spotify is a necessary evil, I guess. It definitely saved, the industry in some regard as far as illegal streaming.
Right.
Everyone was headed on, but
yeah. Man, wow. Yeah. I honestly, I think he's probably right. Unless the only people that can afford to wait 3 to 4 years to put out an album are big label artists. Like the only people that can continue to follow that format can afford to like build a lot of hype, put out an album, go on a massive tour. For the rest of us, it's like I don't even know when my next album's gonna come out. I've just been dripping singles.
Yeah, you're right.
Like because I don't even know how to release an album anymore. Like I don't know how to like do that. I don't know do it in a way that I don't know. Feels right for me.
Yeah, a lot of what I've heard and read is people talking about the album format kind of dying, but I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever accept that because love the album format so much, just from
Yeah,
my
right.
heroes and
You're putting out
musicians I
an
like.
album. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your second album in 2 years.
Yeah. So, and this one's it's 8 songs, so it's, you know, a more condensed album, I guess. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I just feel like you, just going back to that personal connection you were talking about, you can learn more or learn more about an artist, and the artist can tell a more full story with, you know, 8 to 12 tracks
Right.
versus the singles, you know.
Yeah, right. And I think that him saying something like that might be, I guess he's talking about what makes sense, like financially for
Yeah.
like and situationally. I think that the artistry of making music is going to continue to change. I think it is more popular now, maybe, to not make albums, or like, but we're like in the first like year or two of that school of thought. I mean, that's an incredibly fresh perspective to be like, what if I never made an album? You know, on the other hand, one, there's just the idea that people should just keep doing what they want. The whole thing about art is that you break rules. So it's like, if everybody's saying not to make an album, in like a year or two, people are going to be like, man, this person made an album and that's sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing that we do, is break the rules. That's how you make memorable art, I feel like. But at the same time, like, yeah, also just like people should do whatever they want. And it's like, if you want to make an album, and also if you're making literally putting out another collection a year after your other collection, I guess a year and a half, but like the next calendar year, it's like, you're putting out a ton of music.
Trying to, for sure.
Yeah, you're almost putting out an album before some artists put out singles, like at a rate faster.
So
do you think you're of yourself as being pretty prolific? Do you write a lot?
It's weird. I haven't, like, I feel like everyone's going into, you know, quarantine and everything being shut down with like the thought of like, oh man, this is going to be a great creative period. And it was for making the album, because I recorded it all pretty much during quarantine, but I like have scarcely written. I've written maybe like 4 songs since like March, which I don't know if that's just like what is influencing that, like if my inspiration is drawn from like, you know, social settings and like experiencing that, or but yeah, I think my writing will pick up more once I'm out of album creation and promotion mode.
Yeah Right. If it makes you feel any better, and or maybe you don't even feel bad about it, but just to show you some encouragement, that's been a like central theme of this show. I've been talking to songwriters and asking them if they're writing, what they're doing during quarantine. And I haven't had a single person be like, yeah, it's actually been like a healthy time for me. I've been writing a lot. Like everyone I know, even like the people I know who just are always blowing me away with how much they're writing. They're like, yeah, you know, I had one friend say, you know, I wake up every day, and if I can write 4 lines, and like, that's a good day for me. And she normally writes like crazy. And so I think although has been a lot of open time, it has just been a very difficult time to like stay creative and write.
Yeah.
You know?
And the more I was thinking about it, I like a lot of my writing is, I'll go see someone that really, really inspires me perform live, and then that will make me want to like, damn, I gotta step my game up.
Yeah, right.
and go home and, you know, have a fire under my butt to try to write more songs. But yeah, that's been missing.
Yeah, if you can stay like in a healthy headspace, I feel like Nashville is really good like that. Like people can inspire you, and you turn around, you're just like, wow, I want to do that. At times maybe it can also be overwhelming, or you can feel like nihilistic
man,
about it,
I can't do that.
Yeah, or you're just like, wow, there are so many people who are so good. This is insane. Like sometimes I feel like the city almost does. I'll say this. One thing that I think is valuable about touring is that it helps me get rid of the connotation that the world is just full of amazing musicians. And like, we'll go outside of, I mean, all of touring for us is like, we are constantly getting affirmed that we're like great musicians and performers. But in a way that we don't get in Nashville.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
just very refreshing because people everywhere else value it so much more, and they're just like, wow, like this is so cool. And it's like sometimes I'm like, man, it is cool. It is cool to make music. Like, why I've lost some of that like middle school spirit I had because it's so saturated. In a lot of ways, like I said, that's good, but I think in some ways it kind of makes me forget that it is a magic thing that I'm getting to do, and
Yeah.
it has the
Are you
ability
are
to
you
change people's
originally
lives.
are you originally from the Nashville area?
Yeah, so I'm right now. I'm inside the house that I moved into when I was like 7 or 8,
Oh,
and
nice.
I'm born and raised here in like South Nashville, kind of near like Nippers Corner, no,
Okay. Yeah,
towards Nolensville.
for sure.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's another piece of context that I've been here my whole life,
Yeah,
you know.
definitely.
But yeah, I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I feel like it's definitely more appreciated outside of the Nashville market, which, I think Nashville is especially in the Southeast, a great place to be headquartered just because you can meet so many great songwriters and artists, and there's no shortage of like a community, but it's
Yeah,
yeah, you can definitely play the comparison game a lot more in Nashville.
yeah,
And then the Chattanooga music scene was like growing up was always pretty lame. Uh they've opened some cool new venues lately, so it's really
oh yeah.
been
Wait, what
growing.
venues are you thinking about? I'm just curious
Well,
if you
this
can name
one
them.
this one just closed, but
No,
Songbirds, did you ever go to
oh,
Songbirds?
dude, no. I was trying. Like, I had a hold, but
Oh,
I think I personally I think I canceled the hold because it was just too expensive. It was a nice place. It
yeah,
was
dude.
really, really cool. I wanted to play there so bad.
I had some buddies who were just like tapped into like the UTC Greek life scene, and
Yeah,
would always like anytime they played at Songbirds, like they would sell it out with just like fraternity and sorority, members. And so they'd a lot of times they'd ask us to come open for us. But that was such a cool venue. It's just always cool when you have like a green room and
yeah,
get to like walk out on stage rather than just be hanging out. You just feel a little more professional. Not to you know
totally. It.
discredit the smaller venues, but yeah, it's a cool experience.
I think that's almost. I think that's kind of a parallel to what we were just talking about. Like, I think when you do get to like play on a stage, it's that same kind of recontextualization that happens when you play in different cities. To where when you walk out on that stage and you're standing on like maybe like a 7 foot stage, and even if it's literally your friends below you who you know and like are gonna go to eat with afterwards, it's like you feel like you feel the context of your art, like it's being put on this stage, and
Yeah.
every note you play, like when I have like a good monitor, I'm like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
man, I'm
Yes.
like, wow, like this rocks. I feel like I could
Mm.
even get up there and play a guitar solo, and I literally never want to play guitar solo, but I'm like, I can just get up here and like I just feel the magic. And like we play, the biggest example is we play a church, it's like a youth rally, I guess is what you call it, or conference or whatever, in Nashville every summer. And just being there with those like middle school and high school kids, and they just everything we do they think is cool. And
Yeah,
it's so affirming. It's like
definitely.
it's definitely something that I feel like I miss when I'm just playing at like the Cobra every night. Like I feel like I'm like, or it's like, man, it is kind of cool to have that, to be lifted up a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's things
Or
like
healthy. I think
that
it's healthy.
yeah, things like that keep you inspired and keep that
Yeah,
fire going for sure.
totally. Especially in the context of doing a lot of DIY touring,
Yeah,
which again, like you said, like is so special in its own right.
yeah,
Um, that's cool. Have you ever played at the or like at Spot Coffee in
yeah.
Chattanooga?
I played there twice. Yeah,
Cool. That's awesome.
I like
That's a
that
really cool
venue.
play. Yeah, I
Yeah,
do too.
it's I've always had kind of like sound issues there. It's like it's a spacious room, so
Yeah, it
it's kind of
is.
hard to tune in the sound. But yeah, it's a good environment. I like it.
You do you think of yourself as a Tennessee person? Like, do you think you're gonna stay in Tennessee your whole life, or do you have other places you're eyeing?
I've always liked Colorado,
Whoa,
and like
really?
yeah, like I went on a couple like church trips to like Buena Vista, Colorado, which is in like Colorado Springs, southeast area.
Yeah, right.
So that's just like going out there from Tennessee. You're like, I can't believe this is in the same country as where I've lived my whole life.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, in an ideal world, if I have $1 million, I'll have a house in Nashville and in Colorado. But
That would
yeah,
be
I don't know.
cool. That
It
would be
just
cool.
I feel like I don't know. I guess Colorado's, that's where like the Lumineers are from, and so it's
Right.
definitely has a cool music scene.
Yeah, totally. My sister has been talking about and like looking at moving out there. The only reason I don't want her to is just because it's so far away. Like it
Yeah,
would be,
it's
I think in terms of touring, you'd have to like really, I mean, you just have to kind of start fresh. It'd be like, okay, you can play in these, it'd be hard to like bridge that gap unless you were
yeah,
doing like a month long tour or
yeah.
longer.
That's what's nice about it being in like the southeast. Like
Yeah,
you can, everything's like you can play in 10 different great markets that are like all less than like 4 hours away.
totally, dude. Totally. Yeah, I forget about how special Nashville is when it comes to touring. And also just, I think that, in a lot of the markets, like they do change pretty drastically. Like the shows I play in Mississippi are pretty different than the ones I play in Kentucky. Like,
Yeah,
but there are a lot of like really generous people who are close by
yeah,
in a
for
lot of
sure.
different cities. Yeah, that's cool.
What's next for you? What are you working on?
Um, I'm working on. That's a good question. Thanks for asking. I'm working on this. I'm doing a lot of this. I'm putting out a episode of Fun Zone every day.
Nice.
I'm working on some new music, actually collaboratively with Nathaniel from Arlie.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what we're gonna do with it, but it's been really fun.
nice. How's he doing?
Um,
I haven't talked to him in a while.
he's doing good. They're like coming towards the end of their like time before they have to turn in the album, so he's in crunch mode. He's like staying up really late, just like
Gotcha.
he's the champion of mixing. So he'll be like, what do you think about this mix or this mix or this mix? And I'm like, I don't know. They all sound good. I'm like, I don't really know the difference between them, but they sound fresh. And hopefully my affirmation is enough for him because sometimes I feel like I'm not helpful. But yeah, he's doing well. And all is well here with me too. I really just taking it day by day. Like I say that every day, and I think it continues to be true. Like I woke up today, I started thinking about tomorrow. I got stressed out. I was like, okay, I really don't know much of what. And with touring being gone, it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a lot about like trying to figure out a way to stay fresh every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was with Garrett. He had like sold some t-shirts on Instagram and was delivering one to Lena Chestnut yesterday. And she was told me you had your 50 states in 50 days
Yes, dude.
plan. I hope that comes to fruition, man. That's bold, but amazing.
Thank you, man. Oh yes, dude. Yes, that is my next tour
I
dream.
hope that wasn't a secret. I hope I didn't.
No,
leak that.
you're
Okay.
good. It is not a secret. 50 shows in 50 states in 50 days. That's where I'm. It just came to me one day. I was like, man, and I've thought about it more, and like I think it could really work. You'd have to double down some days, like especially in New England. You know, you might play like Vermont and New Hampshire, like do an afternoon show in one.
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna have some long drives in the middle. Oh man, it's gonna be crazy. But I think you start in Alaska and you end in Hawaii, so there's only 2 flights. You know.
Yeah.
And then you celebrate in Hawaii when it's over for a week. That's the game plan. I don't know how you would. I mean, I'll probably have to save up a ton of money. I will probably just lose thousands of dollars doing this, but I think it would be just like incredibly fun.
Oh yeah, and could definitely get some like press and attention, I'm sure.
Yeah, to me, the reason I do stuff like that is because I'm super goal oriented, so it helps me stay fresh. Like if I'm just like, oh, I want to book a tour, I'm just like, I have no idea how long it should be. If I do something that's just like ridiculous,
yeah,
I can like try to rise to it, and it also just makes it easier to talk about. If you're just like, yeah, I'm out on tour, then it's like, oh, cool. But if you're like, we're playing 50 shows in 50 states in 50 days. People are just like, dude, what? People are just like, what are you talking about?
That grabs your attention for sure.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to just like, it makes it fun to talk about. It's just fun to like dream about. So I'm excited. As soon as things open back up, I'm gonna begin planning that.
Nice.
Gosh,
That'll be awesome.
I'm putting it too much into existence. I'm really gonna do it. I'm really gonna do it.
I'm holding you accountable now.
Yeah, for real. If I don't do it, I'm a poser. Yeah, man. I guess is there anything else we should talk about like the new album or anything else you got coming up besides that?
Oh yeah, we're doing, I guess this isn't coming out to the 18th, but we're playing the virtual Live on the Green this weekend.
Oh, really?
Which is, we're excited about. But
dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's so sick. That's an amazing opportunity. That's like a huge deal, I feel like.
We're stoked. So we were in Music City Mayhem, and then we got to the final 8 back in like March when it was supposed to move. So the first 2 rounds were online voting, and then they got moved to, they were supposed to be live performances.
That's right.
At Exit In, which I was like so stoked about.
Yeah.
But then happened. The C word happened, and then so they just like put a pin in that for a couple months, and then they reached out to us like a couple weeks ago and said they're just gonna finish it out with online voting, which I think everyone was bummed about because no one likes having to ask their fans to vote for them 5 times or whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because people are like, I already did this. Like, you're still in this competition.
So when
from 2 months ago.
Yeah, I know. When we lost, I was bummed, but it was also like, okay, I can focus on this album now. It's like
yeah, right.
Kind of a relief as well. But yeah, so they just because we got that opportunity of playing live taken from us, they let all the top 8 play do a set for the virtual Live on the Green. So we pre-recorded it like at Ride an Hour a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I see. So like Fulton Lee is going to perform next year, which fingers crossed will be a live event. Yes. So and so he still wins this like ultimate prize, but as like a
sorry this happened.
Yeah, they're gonna let y'all play this like live stream.
Yeah. So
that's cool. I mean, you're playing on a bill virtually, I know, so it's an asterisk, but it has some amazing.
Oh yes,
I know Dawes is playing. Are the Avid Brothers playing?
The Avid Brothers are playing. Springsteen's on it.
What?
Yeah, dude, it was one of those things we were talking about that's just like kind of lit the fire, just seeing Drummingbird up there with. We were like right next to Dr. Dog.
Totally.
It was alphabetical. But,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw they did that alphabetical, which I thought was like kind of cool. It was like giving everybody like equal.
Yeah, and I feel with a lineup that huge, it's like the best way to find artists,
Yeah, right. Like people like you and me would be like unreadable compared to like Springsteen would be like take up the whole top half. Yeah. That's cool, man. Oh, that's awesome. Where can people watch that? Or I guess this might not come out in time, but where can I watch it? I'll spread the word.
Yeah, it's so they're streaming, or they're like on Lightning 100, they're doing like broadcasting it. So on their actual radio station, you can listen to it, and then on their website, lightning100.com, it's like the videos.
If this does come out after that date, will people be able to watch it like still?
I don't know. Yeah, they haven't really like given us too much information about it, but
yeah,
I'd hope so.
Or if not, maybe you could upload it to YouTube or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Just be like Drummingbird parentheses opening for Avid Brothers full set.
For Avid Brothers, Springsteen, Dawes, Phoebe Bridgers.
Yeah, right. That'd be pretty cool, man. Well, that's a huge opportunity. Congrats on that. And
thank you.
I wish you the best with this album release. Congrats on having it finished. And I think you're awesome. I appreciate you taking time to
Thanks, Reese. Yeah, this is
hang
nice.
out with me, man.
I feel like we've just been acquaintances for so long. It was nice to have a long conversation with you.
It is not for real, man. It has been nice. I feel the same way. I always enjoy keeping up with what you do, and even if it's seeing you comment on Ava Brothers Instagram, I do love keeping up, and I hope I get to see you in real life sometime soon, man.
Yeah, of course. And text me after you listen to the Third Gleam. I want to know what you think.
I absolutely will, man. Cool. I appreciate it, dude. It's been
Take it
awesome.
easy. Peace,
Yeah,
brother.
you too. Take it easy, man. Peace out.